of you for the Health and Wellness web talk organized by Chronic Foundation in association with Rochi Nagar and Run Addicts running group from Rajajarajeshi Nagar. The Chronic Foundation is an NGO working on rural education, environment, and health. Under this objective, Chronic Foundation also organizes a Pride Run annual event successfully from last 3 years and reached out more than 10,000 people to motivate on running. The Run Addicts is one of the leading running group in the city and more than 3,500 members in the group with a clear agenda of non-political, non-religious, non-commercial. Run Addicts organized more than 100 family running events free. This team also acted running during the COVID-19 lockdown to distribute food packets. Their annual big events are organized to support the cause, educate a rural child. We have with us the initiator of the Run Addicts, Mr. Mohan Devegowda. Welcome, Mr. Mohan. And I hope many Run Addicts team also watching this web talk today. I welcome all of you. Today, we have with us on this web talk a leading senior plastic surgeon practicing for 17 years. Presently, he is a lead consultant in Aster CMI Hospital. He has done MBBS, MS ENT, DND ENT, MCH plastic surgery. He is an alumni of BMC Bangalore, PGI MER Chandigarh. He is also worked in St. John's Medical College as associate professor, and he has rich experience in teaching and also worked for 10 years as a head of the Department of Plastic Surgery in BGS Global Hospital. He has performed more than 4,000 plastic surgical procedure comprising of all the subspecialties of plastic, cosmetic, microvascular, reconstructive surgeries in the last 17 years. He has performed more than 600 microvascular surgeries, both elective and emergency. He is also a life member of Association of Plastic Surgeons of India and Indian Society of Surgery of Hand. He has presented many national, international research papers and journals, and also he has been awarded a KOSLA Gold Medal for research in inner ear. Generally, we have seen the doctors, of course, majority fit, but very reserved, and hardly we see them on the fitness ground because they claim busy. But here, he is something different. He makes himself free in a busy schedule. He is a marathon runner since 3 years practicing barefoot running. With all his busy schedule, he has participated 8 full marathons and 12 hours Bangalore Stadium run in 2019, that is around 78 kilometers, and many half marathon and 10 kilometers runs. He is an active member of Run Addicts Rajajarajeshi Nagar. Today partners, which I mentioned, he also participated runs for the special cause like 12 hours run and Tata Mumbai Marathon to support the transgender health. I present to you Dr. Madhusudan Ji to share his perspective of health for the runners with his versatile exposure. Sir, we are excited to listen to you and so much experience in medical profession and also marathon running as well. So we want to listen from you the tips as a doctor and a runner to keep runner fit. Over to Dr. Madhusudan.
Hello. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks, Pride Run Group, for giving an opportunity to present the health aspects of running. And meanwhile, I thank Mohan Devegowda, being one of my close friends and being the part of the Run Addicts group. And I am here as a doctor and as a runner. The slide is just to say that I've been a runner and a doctor. Basically, today's topic of health and running is only telling about the health aspects of running, because there is so much available literature in the net where the running aspects of so much is discussed there, and also health benefits also discussed there. So here is for all those runners who are started running, who are in the running, they're taking the running as a part of their fitness journey, just to promote them, just to make them aware of the health benefits of running. So my introduction already is given. Thanks for that big introduction. I just want to get introduced as a runner here because just this slide shows that uh, this slide shows that uh, I'm a runner. Just to the numbers are shows that I'm an average runner, but only good thing is that I'm progressing as a runner, getting experience by uh, the way it's going on in last 4 years to run as best as possible to make it as a part of our life as a fitness journey. So that's all here. I just want to go ahead for the next slide about just health aspects of running. Yeah. Why running? Why only running? We have so many outdoor activities: cycling, rowing, swimming, sports activity like football, volleyball, uh, cricket, n number of sports which will get into athletics. But running is one of the most common and most like well accepted by the community as a part of a fitness journey. Why running? Because um, running, we are running in life for so many other aspects. We are running for uh, I think what's happened to the slide. We'll go back to the previous slide.
Is on?
Yeah. So we run for life, we run for our career, we run for so many other aspects to make money, to live our life. But when we run for fitness, it will take away all other stress in life and makes us completely uh, getting into a fitness journey, which will, in fact, as a we can tell in a hormonal way that when we do stress levels in our work, there's a lot of high adrenaline release, corticolamines release, which will make us heart rate high and lead into stress in life. But when we run, we also increase our heart rate. But this heart rate increase is for healthy in a physiological limits. It makes us stress free in a long run. So why running is that running is very easily acceptable by a common man. He can just come out and run. There is no other gadgets required. There is no place constraint required. You can run indoors. You can run outdoors. You need not have any special equipment for it. So that's the reason why there's so many people are easy to start as running as a fitness journey than any other aspect. So all over the world, running has become one of the most common public fitness events other than any other aspects. So that's why the running is the one which is the one which we are going to talk about that today. Next slide, please. When we think about health is not only physical aspects. Health is physical health, mental health, psychological health, social health, and spiritual health. So even though the running, we see it like a more of physical exercise and give us a more physical endurance and give us more fitness, but it will also improve our mental health. And over a time, it will improve our psyche and make us a better individual to go through the stresses in life other than the activity and helps us to lead a better, healthy life. And when we keep on running and run in groups, run for events, run for causes, we are going for a social health. Like we are not only making ourselves as a part of human being, like we respect the society, how we deal with the society as a part of a social well-being and a social animal. So we know the running will make us make a lot of friends and improve our social health also. When in deep into that running, when you run alone, when you run for yourself in a calm and a solo run, and the run also is a part of meditation. And so many people in the world have think as they become more spiritual when they start into running. Over a period of career in the running, we'll become more spiritual. So as a wholesome, it will give us a comprehensive health, social, physical, psychological, mental, and also spiritual health. So running is the one which is going to be helpful for our health. Next slide. Yeah. coming to this slide, see why people take up running. The most important reason of people start running in little later in life is to lose weight. As we see, losing weight is one of the important goals for everybody. And because of our stressful life and sedentary lifestyle in the present world, we put on weight over a period of time. And we want to be fit and we want to lose weight. And now India has become one of the capital city of diabetes, and people are getting diabetes very early in their life. So very very many number of people, they get into running as a part of fitness journey, but some are really, they want to control diabetes. Control, one of the important way of controlling diabetes, exercise, and running, they take it as a part of exercise and start running. So the weight loss, staying fit, controlling diabetes, one of the most common reasons why people will start into running. But what running will does as a physical health is so many beyond this. So coming to the next slide, we know how the running can help us in our cardiovascular function. Because when we run, we give a lot of work to our heart and circulatory system. The blood circulation to the muscles will improve. The function of the heart will improve. And we breathe and get more of oxygen into our lungs. The lung capacity will improve. The oxygenation to the tissues will improve. So overall, a moderate running for a longer time, a regular running will improve our cardiovascular fitness as well as cardiopulmonary fitness. This is going to increase our endurance, so that we are better fit people when we take into any physical stress levels. So a person who was not running before, a person who's running later, his cardio function, the pulmonary function is definitely much better, and they will feel much better of their fitness. When it comes to a walking, take it in their own journey, climbing stairs, or running for something else, when they know that are putting on just carrying weights and going further, or when you any physical activity in the routine life, then they look much fitter than a non-running person. Come to the next slide. The next important part which is helpful in running is the musculoskeletal health. See, the running is a very muscular activity, because we run against a ground. It is not like swimming or cycling, any other, where in the swimming there is very less resistance to the body. But in running, we are running against the wind, we are running against the resistance of the earth. So we will be running, and it's a catabolic activity where our muscles are put into stress. And when it comes to the physical effects of the running into the muscular or musculoskeletal system, our bones are the one will get more stronger. The joints and ligaments, which are the part of the mechanical, the functional mobility part of our body, are the one which will get stressed out, and also at the same time that will get more strong. The muscles are the units which will make the body move. These muscles, they become more stronger, they become more flexible, and they take the stress for a longer time. And the tendons, see, the tendons are the stiffest part of the musculoskeletal framework, because they are not elastic. They are the tendons, the part of the muscle which are joined to the bones, where they're attached to the bone. So these tendons have a tendency to have sprains, strains. So when we have a limited, a regular exercise, running will make the tendons more lax, more pliable. But they're also one which will get injured. But the tendon health also is going to improve over time when we do a regular running. When it comes to the muscle metabolism as such, because the muscle as a whole is a very factory. It runs, when we run, the muscle works and uses the oxygen, and it divides or it will burns our calories. See, how we lose weight during running is that the muscle is the one which is a factory. It burns the glucose and gets the energy and utilizes the energy in running. So we're going to shed off all the calories by the muscle metabolism. So how the muscle metabolism happens, it can happen as aerobic metabolism or anaerobic metabolism with or with the presence of oxygen intake. So the running also, as we earlier discussed, the running also improves our oxygen intake through the lungs. So the muscle oxygen intake also improves over a period of time. So the muscle develops what we call more number of mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and it is the one which will degrade the glucose and causes release of oxygen, release of energy pockets, that's called calories, that's called the ATP. So these are the one which will help in the calorie burning. So by this microscopic or biochemical changes that happens in the muscle also improves the muscle metabolism, improves the factory, so that the more and more calories can be are broken down, like fat breaking down, how the calories are utilized are depending on the muscle work. And the lactate threshold is one factor where when the muscle works more and more, there's more lactate is formed. The lactate is the end product of anaerobic metabolism of glucose. So this lactate threshold will improve over period of runnings, that will make us less fatigue. Even though we do a activity for a longer period of time, we'll become less fatigue, can do a physical activity for a more period of time, sustainable activity for a more period of time. That's how the musculoskeletal aspects will improve drastically when we do a limited regular running. Coming to the next slide. See, this is an important slide, and you please have a look at this. The health, as we say, I want to put it on the social, mental, psychological, and spiritual health in this. See, the mental health is very important, because just a physical health is the one is not going to be effective in our overall life. Why mental health is important is done because of the present world. We should be mentally strong, and we have to know how to be face our life. So by the running will help us to be competitive, and we know that the mental toughness, because when we do a long runs, we know how difficult is that. Everybody, people know who are a regular 10K runners, how difficult it is to run that 8th kilometer. We know the regular half marathon, we know how difficult it is to run around, go through that 17th, 18th kilometer, 19th kilometer. And everybody who runs full marathon knows that we run with God when we run after 35 kilometers. This mental toughness comes by the regular running. It makes us tough. So that makes us such a tough person that we can take any mental stress in our life. So we know how to deal with our success as well as we know how to deal with our failures. It makes us a better human being. Secondly, psychological health. See, when we do running, either you do run solo or run because you will be running a lot of events. Not in the COVID area presently. I'm just thinking about pre-corona area, that we are participating so many events in the social running. We run in a group runs. There are n number of running groups available throughout the world, and Bangalore being the hub of running, we have so many running groups available. One of the good example is our own Runnerix group. We have more than 1,250 people in the group. So when we run in group, when we run together, or when we have a collective running, we have a positive vibes. This is because of we have no negative thoughts when we do run, because there is no other negative aspect we share. And so there is a lot of motivation, because one motivates the other. There is nothing that it's not that any economical is one is above or one is below. We are all physically exertion. It's a physical exertion. We know our limits, we know our strength. So there is no competition there. When we run in groups, everybody is motivated. One person run will make the other person motivated. So this positive vibes is the one which will improve psychologically, and we become a more psychological well-being. So we laugh better, we deal with the people better, we socialize well. So our improves the psychological health. Coming to the next part of our health is the social health. See, because of the same group runs, community running for charity, all this is the one which will make us social animal. And see, now everybody is indoors. People are stuck to their own families because of nuclear families. Presently, they don't have any communication to the others. So even though we live in big apartments, very rarely we meet up people who are our neighbors. So the socializing is the one which is it's a part of our human life which is becoming less and less over a period of time. By running, we make a lot of friends beyond our work and our neighbors. So this socializing makes us a very open up our minds. Introvert will become extrovert. So this socializing will improve our social health. And when we improve our social health, we think of giving back to society. We do charitable runs, like we run and do some charity. We start and register for events where the theme is a charity. So all this will make us a social well-being. As I told earlier, spiritual health is the one. Most of the experienced runners are very humble. They have no egos, because running will make us very humble, because it will show our physical limits in life. Because nobody can say that I have uh, means championed the running, because everybody will know the body limits in life. That too over a period of time, when the body ages, we know how the physical limits will make us more humble. So the humble behavior makes us a better person, and a solo run makes it more spiritual, and it's the ultimate thing in life. The spiritual health is the ultimate thing in life as an overall comprehensive health. Coming to the next slide, how running helps us in a well-being. See, maybe you think of yourself, or you're a start a runner, or you've been a runner for so many years, or you're not a runner. You know how your lifestyle is. But when you take up running and take a running as a part of your fitness journey, you will have a healthy timetable, because you need to find time for running in a day, either in the morning, in the evening. And you'll have a running discipline, because 30 minutes I have to run, 30 minutes I have to be there. I need to work out this much. So you have a wealthy timetable where you develop discipline. When you develop discipline early in the morning, means start getting up early, so that I think everybody will agree that we all used to get up late, around 6:37 maybe, initially before running. When we start running, definitely our timetables, our alarm started earlier, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock on events days. So this discipline of getting early, it is more healthy. So you get disciplined early in the morning, get a run in the morning, get yourself fit, go back to your work. So discipline carries out in your activities also. So makes a better person. And that makes you know your body better, that makes you know your mind better, because you are running in your me time. So when you give your own self me time, you're thinking about yourself. You can make your um, uh, the new ventures, projects. You can learn yourself. You can think about your body, mind, and your work also. This important giving time to yourself will improve your overall health. So this me time, coming into the from outside, from the inside house, staying at home, and then maybe binge eating, sitting in front of the system or some computer or TV, you come out and start running, you'll become open up in the world. You make if you're introvert, we are not able to speak to a person. When you become running, getting friends, you become an extrovert. You start socializing, you start making friends with each other. Then you have events in Bangalore, going out of Bangalore, you travel outside Bangalore, you travel across the world. People travel across the world to run. They make new friends. They leave. When you see people outside, when you travel outside, only your life opens up. Otherwise, you'll become kupamanduka. You stay at home. You feel your own self is a big. When you see people outside, when you travel, you know the magnanimity of life and earth. So that's how you become a better person. And you can also make new ventures. See, there were so many people who are runners have become coaches now. They become a full-time coaches, and so many runners have open up the running events, which has improved the overall running field in our world. So in this way, running makes us to lead a better lifestyle, better healthy lifestyle. Next slide. In this slide, I want to put it a few topics about the running in women, how it is important for a woman to take up running. Because women have so many other responsibilities, especially housewives. They have a responsibility to to work, and also working women with, they have to be working at home as well as working, taking care of the family, children, and also taking care of themselves and to be a fitness. So with all these things, the responsibility, the fitness in human goes down. They don't take care of their health. They put on weight, they develop diabetes, and so they become more sedentary. So even though they're good by heart, they physically they're weak. They get into problems in health. So it is very important for a woman to take up running or any other physical activity of their choice. One thing, when they start to take up running, there are so many challenges they feel, is that how our bodies are not as great as man's body. But you see the great the female runners, which are made. I think you people know about the prestigious Boston Marathon, where a girl started running, and it paved a way for all women runners to take up running and run marathons. So like that, the woman body. Only thing is, you need to know that man body, woman. There's definite differences. The musculoskeletal system is much more stronger in men than women, and you might have a more body fat percentage than men, but doesn't make you a bad runner. So you can always take up running in moderation, start up and do a limited running. You can also become great runners over time, and also become a fitness freaks, and you can lose weight, you can combat all diseases. One thing, you might think of menstruation and running. You can always run in the menstrual periods also, because you can use menstrual cups. It's not the one which is hindering. You can, a lot of articles we have where people, the girls have told that they don't have any problem of running during periods. Pregnancy, you should be careful. You should not be pushing yourself to the running, competitive running. You can do whatever the best possible walking. You can get into a little gentle walking, a little brisk walking in the first or second trimester of life. But when it comes to the third trimester, like 7th, 8th, 9th month, you better do a gentle walking, do better exercises which are more helpful in your delivery rather than going into the running. So you can take a break during pregnancy, and once you come back after the delivery, you can always take back running. So meantime, you can take it with the other better activities at home, which will be more helpful to keep yourself fit. But lactation is not the one which will prevent you from running. You can always lactate. People have run with the children. People run, and in between they fed the children and they kept on running. So lactation is the one which is not going to affect your running. But thing is, your energy needs will be high, your calorie needs will be high. You cannot starve and run when you're lactating. You should be eating well, good amount of proteins, calories, and so that you will be feeding the child as well as spending energy for your running. So you should make a point on that. So many ladies have started running in their later life, because most of us started running around 35, 40, like age for to make ourselves fit. So similarly, women runners also, they start running at 40s. So they soon end up into the postmenopausal age. But it is not the one which will make them not fit for running. They can continue running. They can be great runners. Only thing is that they should be take care of their bone health, because once the estrogen level comes down, the body, the bone material, the bone breakdowns happen. The joint becomes wear and tear will increase, because the estrogen is the one which is going to protect them before that, which will not going to happen then. So they should be more careful, and they should have supplementation of vitamin D, supplement of calcium, and as well as a good healthy diet. They can definitely continue running. We have people started running at 60s and still they become triathlon runners, ladies at 80s and 90s also. So postmenopausal is not the one which is going to give you any hindrance for running. See, other thing which should be a little careful about is that the etiquette of, there is something which people might think that the dressing etiquette, and there may be abuse in the running community. We should be very careful about the sexual abuse. You should be very careful about how to keep a distance in the so many the non-running aspects of a running group. You should know where to draw a line. And competitiveness, you should not become very competitive to the male runners. It will only make you more wear and tear. You should know how to compete with yourself and your own friends. Non-competitive, very helpful, healthy running career will make you better runners. And definitely you will be much better than so many other male runners. But that should not be the thing. You should be thinking of competing with male runners. You should know your limitations, and also at the same time moderation will help achieve better. And definitely people know that the women runners give a glamour and charm to the running. You know, the spirit of Pinkathon, which itself is a exclusive running event for the women, as well as it's an exclusive event which is a charitable event for the women community, for the breast cancer, other female related illnesses. It's a very big uh, like a charity driven run, which has developed over a period of years in India. So this is one of the important example for us how a female runners have achieved through so much in life. Next slide, please. We go to the next slide. See, there is some running myths. This is an important slide for those who think they're not for running. They think that running, why should we run? So there are so many people who are telling you that why you should run. Running is not good. One is the age. People say that you're too young to run. You should not run. You're too old to run. You're already 40. You're already 50. You're already 60. There is nothing age that you can start running. But people, even a child around 1 year, 2 years, they have been actively doing running. But thing is, a very competitive running before age of 10 is not advisable, because the muscular strength of the children below 10 years is not that much. Because once the male or female secondary sexual spurt happens, then only the build of musculoskeletal strength happens. So it is better to start a competitive run career after about 10 to 12 years of age. But definitely a healthy, very, very casual running can be done at any age before 12 years. Same time, extreme of other age, any age is not a criteria to not to start running. Even you start running at 91 of years. People have started running at 95 years of age and they're still running at 110 years of age. So age is not the criteria. Please take it out from your mind. Second important negative thing is that your knee joint is going to wear out. You'll get a knee replacement earlier if you start running. This is one of the biggest myths. Maybe if you already have a knee problem, if your joints are worn out, you're a patient of rheumatoid arthritis, that's a different scenario. Otherwise, your knees are not the hindrance for your running. In fact, the knee health will improve while you start running. Over a period of running, a good running technique will not injure your knee joint. Take it from us. And definitely you don't take it take out of your mind that knee joint wear and tear should not be a hindrance to run. Spine problems, people don't run because I have the lumbar or a cervical spine, some disc prolapse and all those things. But you can definitely run. You may not do a sprinting, you cannot do a competitive run more than 10 kilometers. You can always run up to 5 to 10 kilometers. A slow run is definitely possible, even though you have a spine problems. With the help of doctor, and make sure that you do it very gradually, walk, run. You can always get yourself in running. And so spine problems are relatively not contraindicated for running. Obesity, people are running to get out of obesity. So obesity definitely is not a contraindication. People have become thinner, they have combat obesity by running. So you're obese, you run, you become thin. So do it. There's nothing that will stop you. But there is other part of the myths. People think running is everything. People think that we're going to achieve complete weight loss by only running. It is completely not true. People have shown again and again, just running will not reduce your weight. People have gained weight, they have really felt sorry about, and they stopped running thinking that running is going to decrease their weight, and they are not able to do weight reduction, they stop running. It is really very, very sad state. So weight loss as a very comprehensive technique, you have an effect of hormonal imbalances, diet, as well as physical exercise. So running is only one part of it. So don't think that running is going to give you complete weight loss. Second thing is thinking that every day, every month, every event, I'm going to improve myself in running. It is not possible. So it may be possible in a younger runner, they can achieve better, but there is a peak, there is a plateau, there is a decline over a period of age. Everybody cannot be Thomas Bobby Philip, everybody cannot be a like Kipchoge, because we are all have our own limitations. So we will peak at some level, we will plateau at some level, we'll decline at some level. So thinking that every event we are going to improve, make only is an invite to injuries. So you should know your limits. You learn, you see your body how it is there, and work according to it. Not try to push yourself so that you end up in run injuries and as well as quitting the running itself. And other important myth is that there is no need to strengthen. Running is itself, it's is strengthening. For definitely, see, there is people who have started running, the athletes who start running at the early age of life, and they're really very good in their running. They run every day. They do a strength running, they do uphill running. For them, fitness may not be required because they will be running over years, decades. But people who start running, they lose muscle framework which is fit for running. So we should strengthen all parts of our muscles, tendons and joints. So strengthening is very important part of running, and it should happen side by side of running. Otherwise our running technique, running our milestones will go down, and you'll end up in injuries, and you might end up quitting running also. So other myths I'm going to tell, which is very important, is that I am running, so I don't need any health checks. I'm happy. I don't need to check my BP. I don't need to check my sugars. I'm running. I'm fit. These are the one which are the warning signs. You will neglect your warning signs of the heart attack. You neglect your warning signs of injuries. So you end up in problems. So you should not think that health checks are not required. You should always go to a doctor if you feel something is wrong. Coming to the next slide. So there is a slide before that. Yeah. No. Yeah. Go to the next slide. Yeah. See, there is a list of recommended evaluations. Evaluation of anemia, because anemia is one of the common problem we face, especially in women runners. And also it is secondary to their eating habits, diet controls. They stop eating to reduce their weight. They end up in iron deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency. This is very important thing. So anemia evaluation. Second is the cardiac evaluation, which is very important. Checking your blood pressures, ECG, echocardiogram is very important. If you have a family history of heart diseases, family history of hypertension, definitely, if you're more than 40 years of age, you should have one primary, one baseline cardiac evaluation when you start running. Thyroid function test, if you're obese, if you're lethargy, if you're sleeping more, and you feel some swelling in your neck, and you may be you may be hypothyroid. So evaluation of thyroid function is very important, because if you start uh, uh, running, it will make more fatigability. It will cause more muscle tearing. Muscle strains are common if the thyroids are not adequate levels. So you should make sure that your T3, T4 levels are normal. Vitamin D evaluation is very important. Spine examination to know the structural problems, degeneration, so that you know your limitations, how much you can go further in your running. You should be careful about. Diabetes is very important. Checking your fasting sugars and glycated hemoglobin. This is one of the important blood parameter which will make the long-term evaluation your diabetic control, which is important. Calcium levels, because of in a postmenopausal area time, and those who have vitamin D deficiency, their calcium in the blood are very less. So the calcium evaluation very important, because calcium is one of the important catalysts in muscle metabolism and muscle the actin myosin contractility. Baseline renal function is important because we end up eating everything during running. We take up so many gels, we take up the energy drinks and protein intakes and protein products. And so we should know our kidney functions, because the creatinine, urea creatinine estimate is very important when you're thinking of your the muscle metabolism, or there's a lot of changes in the muscle metabolism happening in during running. Obesity, yes, even though running is a part of a treatment of obesity, you should check your obesity assessment by qualified doctors to know your BMI, to know is there any other serious problems you have, anything, an intervention is required to reduce your weight in a morbid obese patient. So these recommended evaluations are required for running. Coming to the few aspects of this, next slide, please. Iron deficiency and vitamin B12 deficiency. So we think that we eat well every day, and why we get this? So especially in women, they may be losing blood in each period. They may not be knowing. And to be fitness, they may not be eating well. The people who are gulping a lot of anti-acidity tablets like omeprazole, they will have poor gastric vitamin B12, poor gastric iron absorption. So malabsorption, blood loss, nutritional deficiency are the main parts. Without knowing, even though a healthy and a, a affording like affluent family also, they have anemias. So anemias will make you cannot do good running. You will become more tired, you become fatigability, your efforts are becoming less, your timing becoming bad. You don't know, in spite of your good mileage training, you're not doing well. You should know that something is wrong. You should get into your hemoglobin, because hemoglobin is important, it carries oxygen in the blood. So it's a carrier which travels oxygen. It carries oxygen from the heart, lungs into the muscles. If the oxygen carrying capacity in the blood itself is come down, definitely muscle cannot work more, because muscle won't get much oxygen. So you need to evaluate the anemia. Secondly, next slide, please. Vitamin D deficiency. Everywhere we go, even the corona treatment, the vitamin D as a factor. We don't know. It's a vitamin D is a wonder product which is available, which is given by our sun, because the sun is the one who is going to make a inactive vitamin D into active vitamin D in our body. So we have so many positive factors of vitamin D, and there are so many problems we know in and day in and out we are suffering is originally because of vitamin D deficiency. Still, there are so many diseases which are seen because of vitamin D deficiency. So when we run from indoor to outdoor, definitely our exposure to sun will be better, and we will be forming more vitamin D. And and so, not that because we are running, we are vitamin D efficient. No, definitely, even then we'll have vitamin D deficiency. If we check 100 out of 100 runners, we have around 90 people will be deficient, very 10%, maybe just enough. So, vitamin D supplementation is very important. We can start with about vitamin D 60,000 international units once a week for 8 weeks. Maybe you can top up initially first 3 days, once a day, followed by once a week for 8 weeks. This one vitamin D supplementation is it's a very a notional way I'm telling, but you can talk to your doctors and optimize the dosages. But this is one of the commonly followed dosages, which is going to improve your overall metabolism, which will improve your bone health, joint health. The chances of the tendon straining, tendon stress will become lesser, because all these attributes to the vitamin D deficiency, calcium deficiency, which is secondary to vitamin D deficiency. And it will improve in combating fatigability, and it is one of the immunity booster. So this is very important, recommending all the runners to be know their vitamin D levels, whether you investigate or not, but you should get supplemented. Next slide, please. There are some warning signs, which is very important, because these few one negativity will take out so many positivity. You know that you do 100 good things, one bad thing, the one bad things take out all 100 good things. So one runner dying on the road will take away thousands of runners take up running. So why all these things? We as runners, we have a responsibility of our health also. So one of the very important, which is life threatening, is heart diseases. If you're a runner, if you have a little bit of any symptom of chest pain or any discomfort in the chest, easy fatigability, you are sweating more, any little symptom you should not neglect, because these are the people who neglect. They think themselves because they're running, they're fit, they're not going to the doctor, they are not evaluating their heart, they're stopping their hypertension medication because I'm running or my BP showed normal. All these things are the one self medication, not going to doctors, thinking themselves are more fit, are the one who die on the roads. Especially those at the age of 40 to 50, and they're trying to do more and more activity without thinking their limitations. Take apart the other part, which is a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy that can happen to young athletes. You have seen so many athletes dying on the road, so many footballers dying on the field. That's a very, very rare phenomena, and you should not think too much about that. That is because of excessive cardiac, the hypertrophic cardiomyopathy that can happen in very, uh, um, very active athletes. But it is not very common, and you should not think that aspect. But what I'm putting is that you should think of cardiac abnormality, your heart functions, and potential angina or heart failures or heart attacks. You should be careful about this. Second thing is that anorexia nervosa. It is a very extreme phenomenon. I'm not putting this into every runner, but people think they want to become thin every day. That makes them thinking that they have to lose weight. There's a limit they can lose weight. After that, whatever you do, the weight loss will not happen within it. And sometimes the weight loss is not healthy also. You should have some kind of a subcutaneous fat. You should have some kind of a little puffiness. You should have some amount of fat in all over the body. Not that you should become thin and skinny. It's not good for everybody. But people who think themselves, we can see the picture, a thin lady thinking herself thick and not eating. These are the people who end up in all deficiencies, and they really have problems in their life. We have seen so many runners, they become fitness freak and become ill, and they become deficient. Other most common is the injuries. Injuries is the one which you should take it early so that it will not cut off your journey of fitness very early. So you should know what are the things which will cause injuries, and you should be in the next slide. I'm going to go into the injury part. Next slide, please. Previous slide. Yeah. Injury prevention. So injuries are common. Any runner definitely have got injured over some time. So, but you need to know how to prevent injuries. Treating injuries is secondary, but you should know how to prevent injuries. Those people who have started running, you should know to wear a proper footwear. I'm being a barefoot runner. I'm not going to tell everybody that you start barefoot running, but you should have optimal footwear, a comfortable footwear, which may not be very costly. Which will fit to your type of running. You should know a little bit of how a proper running form is, how to do a running technique. These are the one important factor which will prevent from injuries. A good footwear trying to run in a proper form. Strengthening the muscles which are especially the running muscles, like lower limb muscles, the core muscles, the triceps and the upper limb muscles are the important. Strengthening them will definitely reduce your injuries. Do a 5 to 10 minutes of pre-running warm-up sessions so that your all joints and muscles are woken up. The blood vessels, the blood circulation, the muscles have improved, and your heart rate has built up well. Then you start running. That will definitely reduce the injuries. And a post-run cool-down sessions. Then cool-down running, a slow jogging or a walking for about 5 to 10 minutes after intense workout, followed by good stretching exercises to stretch all part of the all type of joints which are used in running are very important. And take ice packs if you're doing a very hard run. Take ice and rest for the next day. A good proper protein diet post running, which will all improve and decrease the chances of getting injured. And you should not increase your mileage quickly. You should gradually increase mileage. Maybe weekly, once in 2 weeks, you should increase only 10% of mileage for a startup runner, so that you will not end up in injuries. And always is respect your body, your limitations. Don't go beyond that. And that's the one which is inviting injuries. But sometimes, even in spite of all these things, you will get injured. There will be some injuries, especially the injury around the ankle, knees, strains, calf muscle spasms, or getting into the cramps, or twists, and then maybe strained ligament tears, the groin strain. So many other injuries can happen even in spite of your proper trying to prevent. But the resting is very important. You cannot just go back to running unless you feel yourself fit back going to running. You should give an adequate rest. You should apply the ice for the injured area, elevate the part for sufficient amount of time, a good rest. And in spite of this, if you feel it is not going, you should get into therapy. The therapy is also very important. They have a number of how to do how to prevent or how to treat the uh, so many running related injuries available over the net, or you can visit a therapist who can help you out when you cannot do it yourself. But sometimes you develop stress fractures, sometimes you develop ligament tears, where you need to take a medical opinion, orthopedic sports medicine specialist opinion you have to take, which they're going to guide you properly about how to go gradually back to running. Next slide. The next slide is the one is just to brush up for the when you are I'm just keeping the 3 slides for the beginner runners. You might feel the weight loss is very dramatic, which is known. The endorphin released in the body will make you increase in mood. You'll get energized. You'll start getting new social friends because you'll be a novice runner. What you should do, you should start running like walk run, gradual increments, try to build up running forms, be in your comfort zones, know your warning signs about injuries. Sustainability is the key so that you will get into the next level of running. Next slide, please. When it comes to the next level of competitive running or regular runners, the weight loss will become moderate. Over a period of time, weight loss will not happen dramatically like the first part of your running career. You might gain muscle because of your strengthening. You should know how to gain muscle, which are going to be helpful in running. You should improve your endurance, aerobic endurance and muscular endurance by your strength workouts and long runs, so that your running technique, running mechanics become more strong. But at the same time, you should know your limitations. But when you become a regular runner, because of socializing, there are high chances of substance abuse. You should know where to draw a line so that you will not get carried away. And also injuries, also important because you are trying to compete too much. So overtraining is the one which is very dangerous, which will make into injuries. And get a training race balance, which is very important, because training race balance, because you are trying to run so many events in a year and not training yourself will not improve your running. So you should know how much to train, how many races to participate. That's the one which is going to make you better runner and make you improve your statistics. Next slide, please. So the health aspects is there in every part of running. When it comes to the competitive running, we should know how to get our core strong, and we should know how to improve running economy. Definitely, you need to get into a coach-based training if you want to be a very competitive runner. You should know how to deal your energy strategies, especially when you're running marathons more than 25 kilometers. How to endure nutrition, calorie intake is very important. Strengthening keep your muscles fit, and you should have a good mileage when you are entering into competitive running. You cannot just run less number of miles and go and compete in a competitive running. So these are all very important points which you take it into this. But the same overtraining, training, race balance also makes it so you can see that class runners also run 1 or 2 races in a year. That's all. So you should know what is important. So when it comes to the health aspect in competitive runners, like core strength development and thinking like coach-based training to learn more about aerobic fat burning mechanisms and to know your V2 max, know you're improving your lactate threshold over a period of time, and to how to modify your diet so that you take more calorie, more protein intake so that you are not going to have protein degradations. This fine tuning is very important to get into a competitive run. So wear and tear injuries, you should be very careful. And other thing which is getting carried away and becoming egoistic is very, very, you should be very careful on this. Thank you. Thank you so much for patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Madhusudan. It was an amazing session which we had. I think we had more than 10 web talks so far. I think I would say actually today is one of the best web talk for the runners. So I could, we really got very good clarity on for the runners, and especially running. Most of the people take it, running is one of the physical activity. Today really given a picture on that running actually gives an impact on social life, mental life, and physical and spiritually. So these are some of the clarity which you are given today. I think it is a very good eye-opening for all the runners today present here. And anyway, this web talk is going to hosted on YouTube, and definitely many people will get benefit out of this. And in fact, as a runner, we always think actually we are going running for only to keep fit ourselves or maybe passion about my running. But in the process of running, I think we learn so much. So it makes us a discipline. It makes us an extrovert, from introvert to the extrovert, and become healthy. And we know our body ourselves, and we know our mind, and we understand our my time. So that's one of the things actually which you mentioned, which is really eye-opening to all of us. And that travel increases travels and creates a lot of friends, and it helps to new venture. That is one of the great things I think which you mentioned that. So it was a wonderful web talk today, and I would see actually some questions is there. I think we'll take it quickly, some few questions. Let us see how. So everybody is asking for the sharing the PPT. They were all appreciated. Excellent session, very informative, and it is really.
I would.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, coming to the PPT, I would like to thank my colleague, plastic surgeon Dr. Mahesh, who has put a wonderful pictures into my text. I think it's more presentable. It made it more presentable, and thank him very much. I think you will be in the session itself. Second thing is that I'll be happy to share the presentation to all. I'll be sharing in our Runnerdex running group, and there is no time limit for learning, so they can always come back to me and any other doctors, runners. So in fact, we have a doctor running group as Cheetah running. And across the doctors in Bangalore at present, we are trying to have a small running community in doctors. So, and we are all available. They are very good runners, better runners who are doctors available. And they're all open to their discussion. They can always help these runners if there are any questions they have. They are welcome anytime. It is not that we should ask questions now. They can call me, they can call any other doctor, and we can, I think Mohan can give the numbers of doctor runners in our running group as well as in other group. They can approach them if they have any issues. Few things I just want to tell that is that for a started runner, the nipple bleeding is the one which makes them very, very annoyed. It is very common. I had so many times. They should either put some band-aids over it or they should put the Glide or some moisturizing lotion over it, so that any run more than 5 kilometers or 8 kilometers, there is a chafing that can cause. It can also cause chafing around the groin also. They should keep some moisturizing gel applied before running when they go for a long run. This is one thing which makes them really suffering for next to 2 to 3 days. Other thing is that the corns in the legs, that can happen to so many, and nothing to worry about it. I think you should think about their shoes. They may be running in old shoes. They may not be putting the foot in a proper proning supination. That's the thing I think available over net. They should know how they are running technique. They can go up to the senior runners. They can do a train run over the treadmill, so that these injuries can be prevented. These problems can be solved. The one caution is that they should not think themselves very healthy and not going to doctor for any warning signs. That's one thing I just want to tell, because as a doctor, I want all runners to get some minimal investigation done, so that they should not develop complications. Secondly, if they have some warning signs, they should come back and they should show to the specialist in time.
Thank you, sir. So I would request Mohan to come on screen quickly. I can unmute and come on screen. I think he is doing a wonderful job by creating Run Addicts, and he is really inspiring and creating a lot of runners, and he's running at a non-profit organization, and the many people become runners because of this Run Addicts. I would request Mohan Devagada to come on screen. I think you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Mohan, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there, Ramesh sir.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Mohan.
Hi. Yes, sir. Thanks, Mr. Ramesh, for arranging this wonderful talk on health and health about runners, particularly, and our Dr. Madhusudan, who is a run addict, who is an ultra marathon runner, has given a wonderful knowledge sharing session about health and awareness about for runners. What do you, Mr. Ramesh?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Madhusudan. It was a wonderful session. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, all the participants who logged in today and watching this program. Thank you very much. Keep watching this health and wellness session every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mohan Devagada. And thank you, Dr. Madhusudan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivana. Thank you, Shivana. Thank you.